All right, guys, I'm back. This is Observe and Report with yours truly, Mr. Nobody. And you know what? I'm kind of having a little dilemma, and I was hoping you guys can help me out with this because I'm trying to get set up with Rumble. I already have a Rumble account, but I'm trying to get a new Rumble account. And what I'm finding familiar, because I haven't used my other Rumble account, is one reason, and the same similar reason is for this one. Okay, I'm trying to come up with names and stuff like that, usernames, and that's a thing. That's a dilemma. But B, how come I'm not able to upload any of my videos? It won't let me, guys. I'm having a hard time getting this upload thing figured out. It's giving me a hard time. So, if anybody's wondering out there why I haven't gotten on to Rumble, it is technical issues, and there you go. But other than that, here we go. So, a lot's happened. A lot's changed since the convoy in Canada, right? And the People's Convoy, I haven't been hearing too much of that. We've all been talking about what's been going on over in Russia and the Ukraine and all that situation. And now it just seems like somebody's taking an opportunity to drop some bombs in the Iraqi-Iran area as well. So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Did we have a domino effect happen anyways? And countries are starting to retaliate against their enemies? I mean, if Justin Trudeau would have realized this in the first place, that this was going to come, he wouldn't have sent any UN soldiers over there. He wouldn't be sending anybody over there. He would be pulling out people right now, just for the simple fact that he's getting involved with a friggin' war that technically isn't ours. Just saying. Same with what's going on over there. Now, we all heard about the nuclear power plant that almost blown up, okay, because Russia missed aiming or whatever, and then they ceased fire right after that, if you didn't recall. That's according to the news, right? Okay, and we see all the videos of people and the damage and stuff like that. Some of it looked a little bit familiar, like we've seen these videos from someplace else before. But guys, that's just me kind of like observing, if you know what I mean. You got to kind of look at the details. But we see that Russia has invaded in the Ukraine, and you have Mr. Zelensky making deals with Canadian and the American leaders. And it just seems a little bit familiar and a little bit like what's going on here, especially, ladies and gentlemen, when we find out about these labs. I mean, I found it kind of interesting that, we had particular places and suburban areas getting hit by these bombs. That's what was reported. Seemed a little bit coordinated, don't you think? I mean, we all know that when spies or little small organizations or even communication organizations are together, they may be in all different shapes and sizes. They could be somebody hopped up in a little apartment somewhere, maybe with his family. You don't know. So, I hate to put it in this perspective, but if you found out information about that and it was, in regards to some very deadly things that were going on in the world, then what's going on? What are we talking about here? What are we actually watching on the screen? Are we watching a cover-up? Maybe. But there is definitely some serious shit going on out there over in the UK, Russia, and China area. Because China's involved too. We're all realizing that as well, right? It just seems like it's a domino effect happening. Now, well, I was having an epiphany the other day, and I thought to myself, I was thinking, like, if that nuclear power plant had have blown up, what would have been the reaction, okay, from everybody who also, what would have been the reaction? A hell of a lot worse than it is now. But as I've said, there seems to be other people trying to jump on this bandwagon and starting some more ruckuses between countries. So it just seems like our attentions are being shifted from one place to another. Okay? And you ever heard that it just doesn't smell right? It sounds pretty thin. You know what I mean? Like a thin story. Well, it may be thin. Thin enough to crack through the ice if you step on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to open your minds to the possibilities that there are other perspectives and other reasonings for the way people are and what they do. Now, I'm not somebody that's going to fucking be out here and play the game, ladies and gentlemen, and cater to anybody, because there's a lot of people that are guilty in this subject. Clearly, I've illustrated in previous videos, if you're on my YouTube channel, checking that out. I've got 62 subscribers. I'm shocked. I should have way more. But you know what? We just found out recently that I have been entirely right. Recently, I got one strike on my YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one strike, and it was a pretty good strike because it illustrated how desperate they are to shut even the littlest guy up who has, I may have all the knowledge, but you know what? I seem to be between this rock, and a hard place, because, having all this knowledge and no power, that sucks, doesn't it? But you know what? Don't fret, ladies and gentlemen. We have people power. And as I said, the People's Convoy down there working hard. And, it just seems like all this stuff has been, pre-planned, long-term pre-planned. And I think a lot of people out there are waking up to it, if you know what I mean. They're seeing the bullshit. And it's going to get to a point, ladies and gentlemen, where even our voting system isn't going to be trusted. And I hate to say it. I know the ego trips everybody has on voting systems. I don't care what side you're on. Okay? You're all wanting to get your hands on that voting system. But the whole thing is, the votes are votes. And if people are going to start still not believing in the voting system, yeah, you guys are in trouble. You may end up having a lot of trouble. Counts, numbers, and stuff like that, just the way it is in the next election, 2022 or 2024. It's just a matter of time, guys. But what are we going to do in between now and then? We got to clean up all this mess, man, because to be totally honest, it's a disgrace. Our leaders, the leaders that people voted for out there, like Justin Trudeau, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, all those rich guys. What attracted people to voting for these guys? Was it what they said, or how much money backed them up? I gotta ask you guys out there, okay? Because I'm always open for forgiving people for who they voted for and stuff like that. Clearly. But I'm kind of wondering, what was it that made you guys really look at him? You do see now how much of a disappointment he has made everybody, not just in the United States, all around the world. Can I ask you people out there that maybe are new here and maybe have just jumped on the fence and are now looking to what's going on? I mean, thanks for joining me on the fence. But that's the question I gotta ask you. Okay, was it the money? That was and people he knew, the people he said he was connected to. Trump had all that taken care of, and if anything was going on, Joe just wanted to take his piece of the pie and run. Now, hey. The guy's an old guy, all right? And I feel that, okay? And he's up in that age. And you know what? Who knows? Might have been a Make-A-Wish Foundation and they had to make his wish come true, and now everybody's over there is all trying to play the game so he doesn't snap. I don't know, maybe it's a mental health thing. I don't know, but one thing's for sure, nobody should be taking any orders from Mr. Joe Biden, and clearly nobody should be taking any orders from Kamala Harris. If anything, get them home, ship them to their houses and say, listen guys, you guys failed, it's done, you know. You're just going to have to wait for the cops to come to your door and arrest you for those crimes that you committed to all these millions of people. Okay, Kamala Harris, all the people, everybody. Joe Biden, even the CNN reporters out there. I'm telling you, go home and just wait to be arrested. That's all I got to say. You know, get your shit together, your things in order. We know that you made the shady deals in your Bitcoins, in all those stuff, putting the buy-in stuff. I told you, nobody's going to be able to save you, not even Oprah. I'm sorry. Okay? That's just the way it is. Because you guys bought in. All right? Now, there is forgiveness for people who are realizing, but you guys out there that are so stuck in the mud and set in your ways over there, and still going along with the show, you'll see. You'll see. You know, you got all this shit going on over at the other part of the world. You know, in the olden days, we used to call it the old world, and we're over here in the new world. We got Canada, United States, Mexico, Brazil, all that area. Okay? All this landmass. Hey, compared to their landmass over there from Russia all the way down Africa and all that stuff, you know, we're about a medium size. We're half the size of them. But the thing is, look it, man, we just got to come together. But the thing is, we do know that there's a lot of us that need to get straightened out too. And we will. The thing is, get it right, Miss. Get it right, Jen, Psaki, whatever the hell your name is. Okay? Miss Redhead out there. I am going to take you and put you in the grinder. Okay? And I don't mean that literally. I mean that you're being shredded right already. I'm just hoping everybody leaves a little ounce for me, because you know what? You out there in the beginning didn't really know what the fuck you were getting into. And then you took some notes, you watched Kelly, or was it? Yeah. You watched some of her things and you started copying her, flipping through pages while you're on the podium. You're really not into this. You'd rather just walk out the door, wouldn't you? But you're also happy that things are going the way it is because you're one of them. Hey? Kind of remind me of Poison Ivy in Batman. Hey? I hate to give you that analysis, but that's just the way things have been going about. You don't give a shit about any of the people you're talking to in the press. You probably really don't give a shit about Biden. You know all the shit he's doing is wrong. You're just going along with it because that's what you want to do. Now, why would you want to do that? What's your last name? You know, names, last names, tell a lot about people's history. They do. The names themselves. I mean, you do realize that. Have you done your family history? Have you ever wondered why you think the way you think and act the way you act? Have you ever watched yourself on the screen, Jen? Do you see yourself mimicking shit that you shouldn't be mimicking? Well, if you don't, I suggest you go back to the learning tree and check out yourself. That's called looking yourself in the mirror. You hear me, Jen? Your title doesn't threaten me because all you are is a press secretary. Neither does Justin Trudeau, and neither does anybody else's title out there. I don't care what king you are. I don't care what queen you are. I'm telling you the way it is, Jen.